What's up, YouTube? I'm going to share with you a story that I haven't thought about in years and years and years. You see, back when I was a tiny little toddler in elementary school, I had one of the coolest bus drivers to ever live. I was this teeny little kid, super shy, super quiet. I sat in the very front row, first seat in the bus, usually with my friend Justin. And I was that super quiet kid, never really talked much, but my bus driver was the coolest. He was Jamaican or some type of Jamaican. He had a little bit of that accent going, and he was just so happy all the time. Every single day when I got home or I got on the bus and I was going home or going to school, he was partying it up. I mean, some days he was a little bit more mellow, but other days he was generally just having the time of his life. He had the radio blaring and just having a blast. And it was just incredible. He had so much fun. He lit up the entire school bus and everyone just loved him. On top of that, every other day he would bring this party-sized bag of chips, and he would just literally hand it out and say, "Pass it along." And there's literally like probably 50 rows on the bus, but he would just pass that thing back, and he'd be like, "Pass it around. Everyone gets chips." Now, mind you, this is elementary school where if you had a few dollars to spend on snacks, you were considered a cool kid because you had the extra money to spend on these really cool snacks that most other kids couldn't get. There's the law of supply and demand and rarity going. But the point was, it was incredible because he was just so cool. And now thinking back, now that I'm a lot older, to think that this guy who literally makes his living driving elementary kids to school would be so happy, so enthused and excited about life, enjoying life so much, just to do that. And on top of that, to be generous enough to spend his own money, which he didn't have a lot of, just to spread the joy. That was just mind blowing. Now, maybe some of you will be like, well, that's one of the reasons he's poor, because he spends more than he makes. Well, although that is a fundamental principle of personal finance, at the end of the day, I mean, we're not talking, he wasn't giving out gold watches to every one of, the people on the bus. It was a $5, maybe $10 or $20 bag of chips. Some days it'd be Doritos, other days it'd be sour cream and onion Lay's. But he was pretty generous and pretty awesome. And, I just want to conclude this video by telling you one thing. Success by definition simply means achieving the goal that you set out. And therefore, you can define success however you want, whatever your goal is. Maybe for some people, it's to win that award. For others, it's to win the Olympics. For others, it may be to make $10 million and be rich. For me, I do think that wealth is a core part of success for me because you just, avoid a lot of pain and suffering. But on the flip side, if I had to just choose one thing that success meant to me, it would be what this bus driver, and believe it or not, just a couple seconds ago, I remembered his name, Oliver. What I believe it's Oliver. I can't remember. So long ago. But if it was Oliver, Oliver is what success means to me. To be just so happy and just so, enthused about life and excited about every day. Even if you don't have much and you don't really, you're not doing incredibly amazing things, to just have that much energy and excitement about life. It was a great memory. not all my memories were so great, but this one really took the cake home. For the fact that even this, extroverted, enthusiastic bus driver would, really gets along with me, that shy, quiet kid. Well, my friend Justin talked a bit more, which he was kind of a little bit of the channel between us, but um, we were pretty cool. Like we talked to Oliver the most out of anyone on the bus, because we sat in the front that much. And so it was just a really cool experience, a really cool life lesson that I really didn't fully grasp until years later. And it's quite interesting because 1 or 2 years later, he stopped driving buses and he got moved to high school buses because apparently he was like too unruly or just too out there for elementary school kids. And then from then on, for the next several years, I got a lot of very stone cold, stone faced, cold bus drivers who were just kind of there, and you could just tell by their stern expression on their face that they were just doing this to make ends meet, and they weren't really that enthusiastic about the whole thing. And so for many, many years after that, that's what the typical bus driver and maybe even typical person is like. But then again, yeah, I do believe that there's one bus driver who was really nice. I think she literally gave each student on like Halloween or Christmas like a cupcake or something as a bus driver. So I do think it's just so many lessons here, not just on happiness but on generosity too. Like even if you don't have that much money, just spending a little can really go a long way, especially when people know that you don't have that much to give. And even then, like we didn't know that these bus drivers were that poor. I mean, on some level, I knew, but just the fact that they were willing to do something that no other bus driver was willing to do. That's in itself, that extra mile really goes far in business, in life, making friends, establishing relationships, because that's really what's most important in a lot of ways. Because at the end of the day, I've studied a ton of super successful people, hundreds, if not thousands, probably definitely into the thousands of really rich, wealthy people. And a lot of them, especially if you listen to these podcasts where they interview them, EO Fire, Eventual Millionaire, Addicted to Success, a lot of them they end up regretting parts of their life and wishing they had made more healthy relationships, but they ended up sacrificing all this time and family time and their personal life to make money. And I just don't think that's a fully balanced, fully successful life. In fact, if you read some of these billionaire biographies, that's sometimes the tragedy with some of these billionaires. And that's why I really admire Warren Buffett, because of course, even though he's also had his rocky times with this, he's managed to kind of balance all these things and really focus in on what matters most, which is relationships to him, more so than money. And that's really what it's going to come down to when you die. You're not going to regret not making an extra $1 billion. It's, although we might like to crack jokes and say, oh, yes, he did. The truth is, what they end up regretting the most is not spending enough time with their family or not really establishing any strong relationships with anyone, friends or acquaintances, and just dying alone and only having people at your funeral who want your money. So, great life lesson there. Something that a lot of people still to this day will learn way too late in life. And just that, in conclusion, be generous. And it just goes to show you that happiness, although statistically money helps up to a certain degree, which is scientifically speaking, studies have shown that up to a certain degree, which is a first world middle class income, that's when the correlation between money and happiness really starts to subside and you get much less bang for your buck. So of course, it just shows you that although money might buy happiness to a certain extent, that bus driver, my friend Oliver, who I haven't seen again, but I'm sure he's either dead or really happy and enjoying life. That's just proof that you don't need to be a millionaire to be happy. All in all, incredible story. And of course, there's a lot of articles, in fact one written by me as well, willyouLaugh.com/happy. If you haven't checked that out, it will redirect you to my comprehensive article on, scientifically speaking, what actually brings happiness. And it's a lot of things that are very simple and don't cost money to do, which is kind of interesting. And what you'll find is that, like, if you're sick of listening to people's opinions on what brings happiness, and you just want like really thorough, comprehensive scientific proof based off extensive testing, it's there for you. And that's really what I turn to at the end of the day. For me, after a lot of like, a lot of confusion and getting all these opinions and not really trusting all these other people who had these opinions on what made happiness. Because of course you're going to get random opinions. Oh, you have to be rich to be happy, or oh, it's all about religion, or this or that. So that's all I got to say, and hopefully this story taught you a lesson on happiness, on gratitude, on enjoying life, on being generous, but of course not so generous that you go bankrupt. Do it smartly, and all that other jazz. I am going to end this with probably the most important thing. It is a song that you might have heard before or during this whole video, depending on how I edited it. But it is a song that means a lot because Oliver, I'm pretty sure his name was Oliver. I can't believe I remember that. But Oliver would play, he played the radio a lot. And at the time, this song was just a massive hit. And I never learned the name of the song because I was super young then and there wasn't the internet and I couldn't look it up. But if you do hear the song, it means I went through extensive research to find it, because it's a tough song to find. And it was just a super hit, and it's just an emblem of Oliver because although he always partied and jammed and enjoyed life, I think he did so especially when he played this song. This was my favorite song of all the songs that played on the radio, and it was played on and on and on, and it was just a good metaphor for how Oliver is, just the upbeat attitude of the song. So I'm gonna play it now, and yeah, hopefully maybe some of you are old enough to remember this song. It used to be a massive hit, and I never learned what it was or who wrote it or like who sung the song because I was young then. But there you go. Hit the subscribe button if you like videos like this. Let me know what you think about this different story type format. I will see you in the next video. Peace.
Everybody in the car, so come on, let's ride to the liquor store around the corner. The boys say they want some gin and juice, but I really don't wanna be a buzz like I had last week. I must stay deep, cause talk is cheap. I like Angela, Pamela, Sandra, and Rita. And as I continue, you know they're getting sweeter. So what can I do? I really bag you, my lord. To me, flirting is just like a sport. Anything fly, it's all good. Let me jump in, please sing in the trumpet. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am, a little bit of you makes me your man.
Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button below for free value bombs like the video you just watched whenever I upload new videos. And of course, the real conversation happens on my website, willyouLaugh.com. You can go there and leave a comment, and there's a higher chance that I will read it and respond on there. And make sure, if you're a helpful and ambitious person, to take the extra step and join my email newsletter on my site, willyoulaugh.com. That's where you will get into my VIP list, where you get some of my best discoveries, best content emailed straight to you, including updates, giveaways, and value bombs that I release nowhere else. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.